Welcome back to another episode of Highlander Hockey with Rocky. I'm Casey Campbell. I am your host, and we are joined by Howell Hockey head coach Rocky Johnson. Rocky, what a win last night! Regional champions for the first time since 2020. How about that?
Listen, it's always great to have a championship game, and these boys that we have are fantastic. And to be honest, in the history of Howell High School, this is the fourth regional title, and it's pretty cool, man, to have it so close to the one in 2020. But this is a different team, Casey, and it's skilled team, it's fast team, it's just different, and every year is different as we just discussed prior to going live, and it's fun, to see the boys have some success. They're excited, but you know what? They're not done yet. It's kind of the old tradition. You don't touch the trophy until you touch the one that you want. And they wouldn't get near it. They said, no, this isn't the one we're looking for. We want the state title. So, listen, we still got another game ahead of us next on Saturday, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. We'll get to that game in a minute, but first we got to thank today's sponsor, Engrave It All USA. Michelle and her team can engrave just about anything in all different types of shapes and sizes as well. You bring your items that you already have, or they can make something completely from scratch. Remember, if you can dream it, they can laze it. From tumblers to sweatshirts and t-shirts, trucker hats and beanies as well. They make all different kinds of stuff. Most orders are complete in just 3 days. And if you want more info, head on over to Engrave It All USA's website.com, USA.com. And thank you to Engrave It All USA for sponsoring this episode of Highlander Hockey with Rocky. The link is below in the description. We saw your cup yesterday, last week's show. Does Keith like his?
Dude, we have them both in the office now. We live by them after practice. It's been great. They're huge. And they fit perfectly in the in your car, right? So they're built such a way and they're durable. I mean, I'm pretty excited. He likes it. I'm a little jealous. He's got the cool yellow one. I love the green personally, but it's just kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, to get the an exciting night. This is a big time. Of course, all the quarterfinals are set and ready to go. All the regional titles, and of course, the team that you're going to be playing, Clarkston, coming up. Before we get to that game, let's talk about some of the other champions last night. A big night. How about Forest Hills Eastern? They took it to Forest Hills Central. Big game there.
Yeah.
Congrats to Lakeland. Of course, they pulled the upset against Brother Rice in
Brother
D2,
Rice.
5-4. Brighton, of course, the game that I was at, they beat Northville 7-1. And then, of course, Livonia Stevenson is back in the quarterfinals after they beat Salem in double overtime, 3-2. So, congrats to Dave Mitchell and the Spartans. It'll be fun to call that game on Saturday with Brighton and Stevenson. But there, and of course, the opponent you'll be playing, Clarkston beat Heartland last night 5-2. That was a big game as well. And then of course that's the opponent that you're going to be playing in the quarterfinals. What have you gotten a chance to look at this team? We've all talked, and everyone's talked about how Clarkston is right there and to take that next step to get to beating a big team like Heartland, and they did last night. So what do you think about the matchup coming up on Saturday with you guys?
Well, before we get ahead of that, let me review a little bit what we were able to accomplish the last two games in the regional showcase, because we haven't had a
Oh
chance to
yeah,
talk.
forgot about
But
those two things. Jeez.
yeah, I mean, we get to, first of all, we're playing at Munn Arena. I mean, what a great opportunity to play there. We were fortunate to do that in the East-West showcase during the season, which we're going to continue to do and build upon for next season. But it's just great. We get out there. We had a Kalamazoo Eagle team that was really buzzing and doing the best they can. And we went out there and, it wasn't our best game. We were sluggish. We hadn't played in quite a while and hadn't been on the ice over the weekend. So, we came out a little flat, came out a little sluggish, but we were able to take it to them. It was a good win for us to get us to the championship last night against a pretty good team out of Eastside Stars. They do well over there in that Kalamazoo Lansing area. And, they came out flying. They did the best they can. Really great goaltending. I mean, that guy stopped it. We had 50 shots on net last night. They were generated 15. Most of what they generated, I think we gave to them. Shooting off pads, turning pucks over at the blue line, getting caught deep inside the zone where one pass, beats our rush. I don't think people realize that. And the goal that they scored, came off the kick plates up at Munn, which are incredibly lively. It's something that we caution the boys about, and they weren't prepared for that. On that event at that issue and situation, and it was kind of a tough thing. It went in and made it a closer game than maybe it should have been. But I think we played well. We overcame that and played good. So I really want to kind of put it out there for the Kalamazoo Eagle team that we played, and then the Eastside Stars team that we played. And then I got to do a shout out. Listen, running these regional tournaments is hard. All right.
Yeah.
We did this several years ago at 140 Iceton, and it's hard. It's a lot of work. And they're doing it at a rink that's not theirs, right? That's not their normal home rink. And I got to give it up to the DeWitt High School who's hosting everything. And if we were going to do number 1, 2, or 3 stars at all, that would be all 3, because it's tough to run a regional showcase, a regional tournament. They did a great job, organized it well, got the teams in and out of there. And they're hosting, as we move on now to the state quarterfinal, they're hosting it again. Not just ours, but they're also hosting the Byron Center game after ours, so on Saturday. So I just want to say hats off to the DeWitt. Mike, the AD there, does a great job. They've been fantastic.
The best.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure I got that out there. But Casey, to your question, how do we manage a team like Clarkston? Listen, I think Clarkston's one of the toughest teams in Division I. I mean, people can talk about the Heartlands and the Brightlands and us and CCs like that, but listen, Forest Hill Central, which was not able to make it thus far, but listen, this team is tough. Last year, they got beat by Heartland in the regional, but they're brutal. They're tough. They're mean. They play hard. They're physical, and they have one of the best players in the state. Vying for a spot for Mr. Hockey and the best player of the state. So they're going to be tough. They got good goaltending. They physical. We match up well in terms of our talent and our skill. I think we have the speed to beat this team. We have the goaltending to beat this team. But you know what? We're going to have to raise our game dramatically. The physicality. We had talked before, I think, offline, that we matched up, I thought, better with a Heartland team because we're similar styles of play, perimeter teams. Well, you know what? Now we get nitty gritty. We've got to get physical. We have to play against the wall. We have to play in tight spaces, something that we are not, necessarily great at, but it's something that we're going to have to get really good at on Saturday if we're going to have an opportunity to beat a very physical, hard rushing, very skilled, talented team like Clarkston.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cal, it's time for your 3 stars of the week.
Well, like I said just a minute ago, I'm gonna kind of go beyond the stars, 3 stars, and I'm gonna give all 3 of those stars to the DeWitt High School for hosting both the regional and the state quarterfinal at arena that's not theirs, and Munn Arena was just fantastic. So I'm gonna give it to Mike Breyer, the AD over at DeWitt High School, for what they've accomplished and how they've done a great job. They've been super kind, very nice. Very good with the information, putting it out in time for us to make sure that we knew what we had to do in terms of buses and times and arrangements. So I'm going to give all 3 of them to Mike Bryan and DeWitt and his staff and what they've been able to accomplish. They've done a great job.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been a part of the. I know what it's like to host these regionals, and it's a tough thing, of course.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is. Obviously, experience it firsthand with all the. With the host, with doing all those doing the Brighton regionals. So it is fun, but yeah, it's a lot of work, and those guys those guys all do a good job.
Well, it's just a lot of, listen, emails back and forth, notifying what time you're allowed to get into the building, what time you go on for warm-ups, making sure they have the referees there, make sure they have the staff there available to collect the tickets and to make sure everybody has to put on a show. There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. Again, we did this several years ago at the 140 Ice Den, and it's hard. It's a lot of work. And so they've done a great job. It's been flawless, seamless. It's been great for us, and they did a great job.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this this week's Highlander Hockey with Rocky. Stay tuned, and we'll find out how they do against Clarkston on next week's show.
We'll see you next week, Casey.